As long as you're focused on building your brand and influence, sooner or later, you'll be required to share your knowledge or expertise, talk about your products or services on camera. How do you put your best foot forward? Find out in this video. Welcome back. My name is Abigail Eketene, and today we'll be talking about 5 ways to prepare for media interviews. So whether the interview is taking place virtually or in a physical location, the rules are pretty much the same. So let's get right into our video. Number 1, anticipate or ask for possible interview questions in advance. Now, for some people, they are very spontaneous. They don't need questions. In fact, when you give them the questions, that's when they're going to mess up. But for people who need to really prep themselves before the interview, it's not a bad idea to ask for questions, all right? The questions help you to just have an idea about what the interviewer is expecting of you. Number 2, get to the studio or location at least 30 minutes earlier. It doesn't matter if it's a virtual event, okay? Now, what coming in on time does for you is that it helps you relax. So like the show I produce and also co-host, I usually tell the guests to come in at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes earlier. Now, it is for their own good. You don't want to have a guest that is running into the studio at the exact time the interview is supposed to start. You want to come in on time, rest. When it's time, you go into the studio and you give it your best shot. Number 3, watch your body language. Yes. Body language is a very important factor when it comes to communication. For a lot of people, it can be very challenging maintaining good posture when they're in front of the camera. Yeah, because we know that little piece of equipment can be very intimidating, but it's really not about the camera. It's about your audience. It's about you connecting with your audience and also the interviewer, okay? Because your posture says a lot about you. It shows how credible you are. It shows how authentic you are. You know, it tells people so much about who you are, your brand, what you represent. So you really want to be as comfortable as possible. Sometimes when you're not even seated properly, it could affect your vocal power. It could affect how you articulate, how you pronounce your words, and your eye contact, because you're not comfortable. So at different times, you see some people, they move this way, they move that way, they move their legs back, they move their legs forward. They're not comfortable. Make sure you're standing or sitting in a position that will present you as confident, competent, and credible. That way you are setting yourself up for success. Number 4, know your message. Know what it is you are required to talk about. A lot of experts wing it most of the time. They don't sit down to do due diligence. They don't sit down, do a little bit more research on the topic so that they can have a broader perspective about what they have been asked to talk about. You need to ensure that the information you're given is updated and it is relevant. You don't want to give answers, that do not have any relevance to that target audience. It's important that you give your answers in such a way that will solve a particular need for that audience. Number 5, keep your answers short and simple, straight to the point. Yes, most people find it really difficult, to just say what they need to say and stop. They want to say more because they feel the more you say or the more you talk, you are perceived as knowledgeable. And yes, I'm an expert, so I have to say a lot. No. So please try not to distract your audience by giving too much information or saying too much in a soundbite. And who knows, if you did great during the interview, you might be invited for another interview. And that way, you're increasing your influence and impact. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. We've talked about 5 ways to prepare for media interviews, whether it's virtual or it's in a physical location. You just need to give it your best shot. And these tips are going to help you do just that. If you have questions or any concerns, just drop them in the comment section and let the conversation begin. I'll see you soon.